Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, one of the heroes you're not taught about in school because they feared his political power. And you might be wondering, who is this guy? And I'm not surprised that you don't know, because they have been slowly erasing our South African history. These people have been doing whatever they can to make us live low lives, be low lives, not have everything we desire, but become slaves to the regime.
Yes, sir! This nigga spitting!
Just like Mangaliso Sobukwe, I am a revolutionary. Arigato. Chiyo. Y'all ain't ready though. I'm telling y'all, bro. Robert, who was born 6 years after Nelson Mandela was born on December 5th, 1924. He was the youngest of 6 children, and his father, Hubert Sobukwe, worked as a municipal worker and a part-time woodcut. His mother was Angelina Sobukwe, who worked as a domestic worker and a cook at a local hospital, which is surprising. Why? Because back in the day, it was hard for black people to actually get decent jobs. As a young kid, he did not know he was going to be great. God is good. Sobukwe's early education began at a mission school in Graf Reinen. After completing Standard 6, for those who don't know what Standard 6 is, 8th grade, right? He enrolled in a primary teacher's training course for 2 years, but was not given a teaching post. Which brings me to something that I realized a long time ago that people do not know. In everything that we apply for as South Africans, there's always a tick box or a check box. They keep asking you whether you are white, colored, or African. Why do they keep asking you about these things? Why is it so important if they know your race? I think that's one of the biggest reasons that led to the downfall of this country, dog. Segregation. But what can I say? What can I say? In 1947, Sobukwe enrolled at Fort Hare University, where he studied for a Bachelor of Arts degree, majoring in English, Xhosa, and Native Administration. People don't understand. It is really hard to get stable education during the apartheid times. So for you to actually do something for yourself, you had to be the list. His exposure to politics at Fort Hare, particularly through his study of Native Administration, sparked his interest in activism. This is where everything began. He later became involved in student politics and was elected president of the Fort Hare Students Representative Council, the SRC, in 1949. Sobukwe got married to Veronica Sobukwe in 1954, and they had 4 children: Miliswa, Danelisizwe, Dalinyebo, and Dedanisizwe. His family endured significant hardships due to his political activism. As a black man back in the day, if you actually were to stand up for yourself, if you were to stand against bad things, you would get imprisoned because they knew you were doing something that was right. If you're doing something that is right, you are a target. They want to assassinate you. How many times have they tried that with Ibrahim Traore? Wake up, follow God, put him first, and you will see the truth with your own eyes. So Sobukwe strongly believed in Pan-Africanism. Instead of unity, the whites wanted the blacks to work for them. How do you segregate the black people from the white people, but you still want the black people to work for you? He rejected racial integration under apartheid, arguing that true freedom could only be achieved when Africans reclaim their land, their identity, and their political power. Now, you find people like the ANC who don't even use their political power to do good. They're just furthering the demolition of this country. But his famous slogan, Africa for Africans, emphasized his commitment to African self-rule and sovereignty. He valued education as a tool for empowerment, back in the day it was, believing that knowledge was essential for dismantling oppressive systems. And it was. If you were well educated back in the day, you had so much power. Despite his imprisonment, he remained dedicated to the intellectual growth and encouraged young Africans to pursue education as a means of liberation. Rejecting the idea of negotiating with the oppressive regime, unlike the African National Congress, which sought multiracial cooperation. He believed that South Africans should lead their own struggle without external influences. Nowadays, we're relying on the government to provide jobs for us when you're supposed to do something for yourself. Start your own business. Do not work for someone else. These people are trying to kill your dreams. From the top shelf, you live at the bottom bin. I don't understand. We the bottom of the barrel as Africans. Robert Mangaliso was arrested multiple times due to his activism against apartheid. His most significant arrest occurred in March 1960 when he led a non-violent protest against past laws. In order for a black person to travel anywhere, you needed a book. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison for incitement. And here's where the twist is. This is what I found very funny. However, fearing his influence, the government enacted the Sobukwe clause, which allowed them to extend his imprisonment indefinitely without trial. This is completely ironic, dog. You see how the government manipulated the law for their benefit. Do you see that? For their benefit. The Sobukwe clause was a controversial provision in South African law, introduced in 1963 as part of the General Law Amendment Act. It was specifically designed to extend imprisonment of Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, the leader of the Pan-Africanist Congress, without trial. This allowed the Minister of Justice to extend a prisoner's sentence indefinitely after their official term had ended. What type of crap is that? Talk about incitement. The government are the biggest gangsters, and honestly, dog, as God's disciple, I go against them. I go against anybody who go against God. This only applied to Mr. Sobukwe, making it a targeted law rather than a general legal principle. Talk about incitement. This used to keep Sobukwe in solitary confinement on Robben Island for 6 additional years after his original 3-year sentence expired. My nigga, South Africa is weak. The government is weak as well. But there's people like me now, people who actually fight for what's right. And here's the sad part. He was diagnosed with lung cancer while under house arrest. The government denied him proper medical treatment, worsening his condition. He passed away on 27 February in 1978 in Kimberley. People don't get it. It's Africa's time. It's time we take our power back, because the revolution is being televised. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Put God first. Love.